If you're a hooper who's always having sore knees or knee pain after practices or games, stay tuned for the next few minutes for me to show you how you can alleviate that knee pain and improve that range of motion within 5 minutes. So what I got here is basically a pair of voodoo floss, which is basically a great way to kind of really compress into those joints of your knees. And the important purpose of this is to basically, you're gonna wrap around it, you're gonna compress it. So this will really help you desensitize around the structures of the knee joint. It might be the quads, it might be the hamstrings, it might be the calves, it might be the knee joint itself. So by wrapping around it, we can really create some compression, which afterwards can really help to desensitize the area and help your brain to just perceive this as less of a threat and able to help you promote much more movements after, okay? So we basically have 2 pairs of bands right here, and there's gonna be 2 different ways to do so. So I'm gonna show you the first way. So let's say if you only got 1 pair of voodoo floss and you only got the thinner one, which is shown like here, what you want to do is start from distal to proximal. So basically the furthest part of the body and slowly wrapping it up to the closest part of your body. So you're gonna start basically right below the knee joint, right? This is my patella right here. You wanna do this in sitting, right? And you're gonna start basically right underneath the patella. You're gonna anchor this once, right? So then it doesn't fall. And then you're gonna basically use 50% tension on the band, right? Whilst overlapping this by around 50%, right? To kind of go up. And then you're gonna repeat that until now you're right at the patella, right? You don't want to wrap on the patella, okay? You want to wrap right above it. And you want to keep going, wrapping only 50% of it and 50% tension, and then just wrap over again. And one more time until the band is completely done. And then, right, you can here, just tuck this in, right? Just find a gap, tuck it in, and I'm going to show you a few exercises that you can start off with. So initially, if you're having quite a bit of knee pain when you bend your knees in this knee flexion angle, even if it's in shallow knee angles, right, you can start off with this drill where you're basically having your butt, right, your upper back and your heels touching a wall. And from here, I just want you to slowly try to drive your knees forward and up, right? Really trying to work through this range of motion and just pulsing it here for a high number of reps. So very, very high volume, right? Really just trying to get the knee joint moving a little bit better. We're just trying to get the synovial fluid to move a little bit more, right? Bring some warmth into that knee joint. And hopefully we can really try to get that movement of this knee flexion angle open up. And afterwards, really working towards getting deeper into those knee angles. So now you can use basically a heel wedge, right? The same thing, a little higher, and you're just trying to really slide up and down for it whilst doing so. Really trying to get that knee joint warm, getting those quads pumped up and fired up. And afterwards, once you feel pretty comfortable with this, right, you can just do it with single leg, just like a Poliquin step up, right? Heels right on the wall, and you're just doing this with single leg, right heel gently touching the floor, right? Upper back basically touching the wall here, and you're just sliding up and down, really trying to control this. So then you're increasing the load on the quads and the knee joint to really fire up all that structure to hopefully desensitize it and get your knee joint feeling better. So after, let's say you did 50 to 100 reps, now you can just basically take it off and you'll feel a rush of blood flow into that quad area, into that knee joint, into the back of the knee joint as well. And you should feel movement should be feeling way easier. The fluid is starting to finally move, and you're basically able to do this right before games or practices to make your knee joint feel better and getting you ready for performance. Quick interruption here. If you're an athlete who's tired of being injured, slow, and immobile, check out the link in group description below for exclusive access to programs, content, and weekly calls, and you get all that for free. Back to the video. So now let's say if you do have 2 voodoo floss bands and you want to use both of them, this is how you'll wrap it. So you have one which is a little bit thicker with this black one, and with this red one, sorry, and this black one here is going to be a little bit thinner in terms of the diameter. So for the thinner one, you're gonna start with this black one here, And this is going to be for underneath the patellar. So this is going to be for the patellar tendon, okay? So we're going to start same thing, just right underneath it. And then we're going to anchor it first. And then slowly, right, just make your way up, not making it too tight. If not, there's going to be ischemic blood flow around there. So maybe your structures will start to turn white because there's not enough blood flow to flow around some of your joints, right? So you're just going to basically wrap it a few times, right? And let's say I'm just going to get a few more here, right? And I feel pretty good. I'm just going to find a place for me to tuck this voodoo floss band through. So now with the thicker voodoo floss band, what you want to do is now put it on the quad tendon. So now you want to put this right above the patella. So you want to start right here. You want to anchor around it, right? Make it a good anchor. And then you're just going to wrap around it. Keep going, right? 50% band tension, 50% overlap. You're just gonna keep going up, right? Probably till maybe around a third of your quad. So maybe for me, it's till around here. And I think this is good enough. I'm just gonna put this through into it, right? And secure it. So like right here, for example, if it's falling off a little, I can just probably tuck it elsewhere. Just trying to make it tight, right? So this is the second method, and I'll show you a few other exercises that you can do with it. So earlier we were doing some knee exercises in this shallow knee flexion angle. Now we really want to bring that into a much deeper knee flexion angle just to really challenge the joint a bit more. Of course, you can use the first method of wrapping as well if you only got one voodoo floss band, but if you have two, you can do it just like so. So basically you're gonna hold on to your squat rack, right? You're gonna elevate your heels and basically try to get into as much deep knee flexion as possible before pain comes on, right? Maybe it's for you and you start to feel a little bit of pain here, then you just come up and you're just basically gonna pulse in this range, right? Let's say after you get around 20 or 25 reps, then you feel like, okay, my knee joint is feeling much better now. I can slowly really get myself a little bit deeper before that pain comes on. So you're just gonna go a little bit deeper before coming out. You're gonna do a few, maybe like 10 to 20 more reps. And then at the end, you really want to try to sit all the way through, right? That's why you want to hold onto the squat rack, right? Really trying to get your butt to your heels, right? All the way down, really trying to use this full knee flexion angle without pain, of course. If there is, then stop right before it and just pulse in that range, just as shown before, okay? So we're just gonna maybe be here, try to really get some blood flow, get that knee joint moving well, as mentioned earlier. Just really trying to get some high number of repetitions. And after that, if you feel like this is going to be a little bit too much, let me show you another exercise. So the second exercise that you really want to challenge your full range of motion with the knee joint is basically this full range split squat. So you're basically gonna put one leg behind you, one leg on the bench, and you're just basically trying to, right, get as much full knee flexion as possible, right? You can elevate this heel if you're wanting to get more into this deep knee flexion. But you can basically stop around here if you're feeling a little bit of pain and tightness around that knee joint, and you're just gonna pulse in this position. And of course, as this knee joint feels more warm, if there's more blood flow into it, there's more warmth, right? We can really try to get a little bit deeper into it and just really trying to pulse in this bottom quarter range, okay? And of course, once you feel much more comfortable with it, then you can challenge yourself by using less elevation, right? So maybe you can try to progress to this first, right? Here, maybe it's a little bit lower, right? Trying to really get into this range. And afterwards, you can use it on maybe a stair, right? So it's maybe around 6 inches before, or maybe even on a weight plate, before you try to go all the way down into this full range split squat, coming out, coming down, coming out, really trying to get this full range of motion. And after you feel like up and down full through this full knee extension and full flexion, then you can basically just pulse in the bottom quarter range, really trying to challenge that full knee flexion, okay? So once you're done with it, of course you can just take it off like so, right? You're gonna wrap around it, and now your knee should be feeling so much better with it, and you're basically decongesting some of the stuff that might be within there, right? Some of the waste, some of the fluid that might be stuck, right? We don't know what might be in there, but all I know is after doing it like this, right, with some compression, it really helps your knee joint feel way better. And I think this is a great alternative if you do not have someone to help you do some manual therapy. And this is very, very cheap with these Voodoo floss bands. I have no affiliates with them, but you can basically get them on Amazon, you can get them on Taobao or on the Google, right? You can basically find them, and this is such an easy piece of equipment that you can bring anywhere with you, whether you're traveling, whether you are at home, whether you're going to a workout at the gym, right? You can just bring this and it's so light with you. So you can basically do this right before your games or practices or even after, so that it can really help you flush out some of the waste in your quads, some of the lactic acid that's building up in there, accumulating in there, or your save your knees, right? Becoming 5 or 10 years younger, just because we're getting so much of that good stuff trying to bring into that knee joint and just promoting movement, okay? So if you're an athlete who's still dealing with some type of knee pain or knee soreness right after games or practices and needing further help with this, you can check the group description below where you can join my free Gains Chamber community, where you get my full support in there and a full 12-week knee program in there to really help you alleviate some of that knee pain and soreness. So if you're interested, go check it out, and I'm super excited to be seeing you on the inside.